Hello and welcome to Behind the Wheel. This is a slightly different episode today. This is not a tips and tricks on a Golf R video. This is a 5 litre V8 supercharged Ford Mustang. I find myself in GT101's 5 litre V8 supercharged Ford Mustang. It's a 2016 car, like I said, with the 5 litre V8, and then amongst the other things that GT101 do, they have added a supercharger to this car, a Whipple supercharger. So the car is looking at approximately 600 horsepower, about 650 newton meters of torque. It's had a few other quick modifications. It had Pedders suspension, it's got a Milltek exhaust, and it's got a few other little bits and bobs as well as some very nice GT101 stitching on the headrest. GT101 are based in Colchester. They're experts in the 2005 sort of generation Ford GT. They do a lot of those, taking care of them. Now do a lot of work on the Ford Mustangs as well. So if you are a Mustang or a GT owner, look up GT101, gt101.co.uk. I'll put the link to their website in the video description below, and they can do some pretty cracking deals on, you know, fitting and modifying these parts to your Mustang. So, exactly what modifications have been done to this 5 litre V8 Mustang. GT101 have installed Pedders Xtreme coil over suspension, which is adjustable damping, and is currently set in the middle of its 32 clicks of adjustment. The ride height is 30mm lower than standard, and the benefits of this are improved body control. It's got a lot less roll, and it gives more precise feedback through the steering as well. It's about £1,050 fitted. To go with the suspension, there's Eibach 25mm spacers all round on every corner. This is primarily just to improve the look of the car with the lowered suspension, especially as we're on the standard wheels. And that's £250 fitted for those. There's a Steeda clutch spring installed. This is to help with modulation of the clutch. The clutch spring is £25 fitted, which is an absolute bargain. So if it really makes a difference and you've got a manual car, why not? They've installed a Pro Alloy header tank, which is mainly for appearances, to replace the unsightly plastic part that comes from Ford. You can get it in a couple of different finishes. I think this one's black. You can also get it in polished metal. It makes the engine bay look a lot smarter, and this is £380 fitted. Along with that, this car has got Ford Performance billet caps in the engine bay, makes it look a bit more sleek, especially with the supercharger installed. The aluminium caps are £160, and that's a 4-part kit, so £40 a cap. The Milltek resonated catback exhaust on this car is twin outlet with polished tips. Really good sound, works on the car's standard valve system. It's not really obscene and antisocial, but it definitely improves the noise of the car. You get some nice burbles and stuff like that. It's very nice. Finally, the biggest upgrade to this car is a Stage 1 Whipple Supercharger kit. It produces about 600 horsepower and about 650 newton meters of torque. It's a comprehensive kit with inlet manifold, intercooler system. It is a belt-driven front-feed supercharger, which optimises airflow into the supercharger. And all of this, fitted, ordered, everything else, £9,000 for 600 horsepower. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. So, what's this car like to drive? Now it's supercharged, had the suspension done and everything else. In general, I'm quite impressed with the car actually. I like the Mustangs, they're cool, but I've never been their biggest fan. I've always preferred smaller German sports cars. But I have to say, it is very impressive modified. The power holds you back in your seat, and you really feel the difference there. The suspension completely changes the car along with the manual gearbox. It feels a bit more like an almost like a sports car, which I know a Mustang isn't necessarily a sports car, but you feel like you could take this down a B road and have a really good time with it. The exhaust adds a nice amount of sound, turns lots of heads, but the nice thing about this exhaust system from Milltek is it's not outrageous and over the top. It runs off all the standard sorts of valves and everything else, so it's not too shouty, but it's loud enough. The Supercharger makes some great noises. It whines, really adds to the pull. Like, you accelerate and it just keeps going and going and going and going, and it just doesn't want to stop. Very different experience obviously to turbos. I've not driven a supercharged car before, and the way it just kind of continuously pulls, you don't get a sudden hit of boost, it just keeps going, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's fast, it pulls a lot, and when you accelerate it really moves you back in your seat. It's very, very impressive. Very fast, very, very fast. So overall, all these changes make quite a big difference to this car. It's a lot more drivable, a lot more powerful, sounds great, but on the outside it looks almost like a standard Mustang, and it's 600 horsepower for effectively 60 grand. That's a lot of car for not a lot of money. It's worth giving GT101 a shout if you're interested in any of this stuff. Their website link is in the description below. They're very nice guys, Dave and Lee. They can do a lot of work on your car. They do a lot of work on a lot of Mustangs all the time, as well as looking after Ford GTs. If you've liked this video, please share it, like, subscribe, etc, etc. And thank you for watching.